So if you could predict exactly where you were going after you die, like simply by examining your thoughts today, would you actually look?
Oh, man. That is a heavy question.
It is, I know. But um, just imagine for a second if the afterlife wasn't some grand, unknowable mystery hidden behind a curtain
All
somewhere.
right.
Imagine if it was just a direct, highly measurable reflection of your current mental state, and it was literally playing out right now.
It totally flips the whole traditional narrative of the afterlife completely on its head. I mean, instead of waiting around for some external, I don't know, judgment day,
Yeah,
the judgment is just this ongoing active process. You're basically building the architecture of your next existence with every single thought you have.
exactly. And that framework is the focal point of our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're looking at this highly intricate, translated text by an author known as Deiform Celestial, and it's titled How to Predict Your Own Afterlife.
Which is quite the title, to be honest.
Right. And I want to set the stage here because this is not this isn't your typical vague modern wellness philosophy.
No, definitely not.
Like it's not about just putting good vibes out into the universe.
Yeah.
This text lays out a totally rule-based, relentlessly specific framework for reincarnation.
It's intense. It blends these deep philosophical concepts with strict karmic laws and what is honestly basically a highly detailed map of cosmic cartography.
Yeah, cosmic cartography is a great way to put it. Now, before we really get deep into the mechanics of this, I do need to put a pin in something super important for you listening.
Yeah, we should definitely clarify this up front.
Right. So this text contains some very strong, highly specific religious and spiritual claims. I mean, the author pulls from a massive array of sources.
Oh, yeah, referencing everything from the teachings of Buddha to the warnings of Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alongside incredibly granular descriptions of like various heavens, hells, alternative realms, all of that. So for the purposes of this deep dive, we are taking an entirely impartial approach.
Completely impartial.
We aren't endorsing, validating, or, promoting any of these specific viewpoints. We are definitely not saying this is the definitive truth of the universe.
Oh, absolutely not.
Our mission today is simply to analyze the fascinating architecture of the ideas presented in this original source material. We just want to understand the internal logic of this specific system.
And examining the mechanics really is the best way to approach it, I think. We're kind of stepping into the world this author has constructed to try and understand why they believe consciousness is like the ultimate undeniable driver of reality.
Okay, let's unpack this because the foundational premise of this text actually requires us to redefine a pretty basic word.
Right, the definition of life itself.
Yeah, the author argues that consciousness is the absolute essence of what they capitalize as life, like capital L-I-F-E.
And they make a massive distinction between that and lowercase life.
Yeah, lowercase life being just, the biological ticking of your heart. But uppercase life is the non-material structure. It's the eternal data of who you are.
And the most striking rule of this entire system, which is kind of wild to wrap your head around, is that what is not in your consciousness simply cannot exist for you.
Cannot exist at all.
Right. And the author grounds this incredibly abstract idea in everyday, totally observable phenomena. Like they point to the natural, unbroken chain of causality that we just see around us all the time.
Right, yeah. Like the pregnant woman example.
Exactly. When you see a pregnant woman, you don't have to, like, guess what happens next? She is conceiving biological life, and that baby will grow, age, and eventually pass away. Or when you feel the warmth of spring arriving, you don't sit there wondering if winter is somehow coming tomorrow.
No, summer and fall are next in the sequence.
Right. That predictable causality is the whole point here. Deiform Celestial applies that exact same observable logic to the structural life of the soul.
Okay, so the argument is that just as you can predict the seasons based on, the Earth's tilt, you can predict your afterlife simply by observing your current mental state.
You've got it. Your consciousness today is basically the spring that absolutely dictates the summer of your next existence.
Wow. There's this one story in the text that really stuck with me, and I feel like it brings this whole concept down to earth.
Oh, the one about the terraced fields?
Yeah, exactly. So the author is traveling with someone named Foshan Celestial, and they visit these breathtaking, super ancient terraced fields in Yunnan.
Right, these really remote
Yeah,
areas.
yeah. And they go deep into this village and observe the local elderly Hani people. And these are folks who have lived incredibly hard, grueling, totally isolated lives in this valley, like generations of backbreaking labor.
Just endless toil, yeah.
Right. And the author turns to his companion and essentially asks, hey, these people have suffered out their entire existence here. Surely in the next round they get a break. Like,
Oh.
they get to leave this valley, right?
And Foshan Celestial's answer is just brutal, but it perfectly illustrates the text's core thesis.
Yeah, it really does.
He says, no, they will continue to reincarnate right there, in that exact same dirt, in that exact same valley.
Which just sounds so unfair.
It does, but he explains why. It's because their consciousness contains absolutely no knowledge of any other place.
Right.
They don't know anything beyond those terraces. So the only possible way they escape that loop is if they actively cultivate a desire to learn about the outside world.
Wait, so you're telling me their afterlife geography is literally trapped by their lack of imagination? Like, they're quarantined by their own ignorance?
That is the exact mechanism at play here. And what's fascinating here is how it echoes established Western philosophy. Specifically, the French philosopher René Descartes and his famous axiom, I think, therefore I am.
Oh, sure. I mean, everyone knows that one.
Right, but Descartes used that to prove his own current existence to himself. This text, though, it takes that concept and basically weaponizes it for the afterlife.
Weaponizes it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it shifts from I think therefore I am existing right now to I think therefore I am building the exact parameters of my future reality. If a concept or a city or a realm doesn't exist in your mental database, your soul literally lacks the materials to manifest it.
Okay, that makes me think of, like a computer's rendering engine.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Or even the way a massive open-world video game works.
Yeah.
Like, if you were playing a game, you can only explore the digital environment that has been loaded into the system's active memory, right?
Right, exactly.
If the developers never wrote the code for, say, a snowy mountain peak, that mountain will never appear on your screen no matter how far you walk in that direction. You're entirely confined by the data that is actively rendering.
Yeah, let's follow that rendering analogy because it honestly fits perfectly. Think of your structural life as the processing unit.
Yeah.
If you've only fed it code for your small hometown or for a life of grueling labor in a valley, it literally lacks the assets to render anything else.
It just can't draw the picture.
Exactly. And if we look at karma through this specific lens, our actions are essentially adding specific lines of code to our rendering engine.
Which brings us to the actual construction of this reality.
Mm.
Because if our thoughts are literally coding the geography of our afterlife, what happens when we, commit a crime?
Oh, this is where it gets really intense.
Right. Like, is there a cosmic penal code written into this system?
Yeah.
Because this is where the text transitions from a broad philosophical concept into this terrifyingly literal cosmic ledger.
Cosmic ledger captures the tone perfectly. I mean, we are so used to modern spiritual movements framing karma as this fluid, energetic concept. Like you put out bad vibes, so maybe you stub your toe tomorrow.
Right. Just sort of general bad luck.
Exactly. But this text completely rejects that ambiguity. The karmic guidelines here are explicit, transactional, and honestly, ruthlessly mathematical.
Yeah, let's lay out some of these specific rules because they are incredibly stark.
They really are.
According to this framework, if you kill many dogs, you will become a dog in your next life. Yeah, there's no metaphor there. No nuance. It's a direct one-to-one structural translation.
And the punishments escalate with mathematical precision. Like, if you murder a person, the text dictates you will inevitably go to the hell world. But it drills down even further than that.
It gets so specific.
Specifying that you will go to either the inflamed layer or the frozen layer.
Just wow.
And if you oppress good people or if you swindle and cheat, you are sent straight to the animal world.
It even gets into specific personality traits, which I found so bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Deiform Celestial lays out this idea that if you love freedom above all else, but you intentionally remain ignorant and avoid learning, you become a bird.
A bird. Just because you like freedom but didn't read enough.
Right. And if you have too many unpaid debts, you physically reincarnate into the livestock world.
And the author synthesizes multiple cultural and religious frameworks to prove this unbending rule. Like, they quote a traditional proverb stating, "Divine's punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes, yet letting nothing slip through."
Letting nothing slip through.
Exactly. And then, literally mere sentences later, the text pulls in a direct warning from Jesus Christ.
Oh, I remember this part.
Specifically, it uses the teaching that if you leave even a single penny of unpaid debt, you cannot leave the place where you owe it.
Okay, hold on. I'm really struggling with this.
It's a lot.
Is this seriously just a strict mathematical point system? Like, say I borrow $5 from a friend, I completely forget to pay it back, and then I die. Am I really doomed to be a cow because of a $5 oversight?
That's the literal interpretation, yeah.
That just feels ridiculously literal compared to the, forgiving, fluid universe that modern wellness influencers are always talking about.
Well, to understand this, we have to look at the mechanics of how the author believes the soul actually works. It isn't just an auditor with a clipboard standing there handing out punishments.
Okay, so what is it then?
The logic is that every action, every swindle, every unpaid debt, every act of violence, it physically alters the frequency and structure of your capitalized life.
I see.
So, if you operate with the mindset of a predator who cheats people, you are physically tuning your soul's frequency to match the animal world. You are literally coding yourself into a beast.
So it's not a punishment, it's a migration.
Exactly. The universe isn't punishing you at all. Your soul is just naturally migrating to the only environment that supports its new structural shape.
Man, if you're listening to this on your commute right now, just think about that 20 bucks you borrowed from your roommate and never paid back.
Right. You might want to Venmo them right now.
Seriously. Because according to this text, that's not just a social faux pas. You are structurally tethering your eternal blueprint to that specific debt, which is honestly pretty terrifying.
It definitely raises the stakes of everyday interactions.
Definitely. So if we're all walking around with these boogie corrupted soul codes, how do we patch them? Like, how do we avoid rendering the frozen layer of hell?
Well, the good news is the author doesn't just leave the reader with the threat of eternal livestock duty.
Thank goodness.
The text provides a highly systematic strategy for auditing your own soul, but it demands deep, very proactive maintenance.
It involves a syllabus, basically.
Oh, it's homework.
Yeah, the text recommends starting by reading something called Life's 18 Qualities. And the goal there is to realize that while we all look like humans on the outside, our internal structural life blueprints are wildly different from one another.
Right.
Then you're supposed to move on to the supreme book of rewards and punishments to actively hunt down your own structural flaws.
It requires just an uncomfortable level of self-interrogation. You essentially have to locate the bugs in your own code.
Right.
And once you find them, you have to apply the rule of compensation. An empty apology to the universe won't clear the ledger here.
No, sorry, universe.
Nope. The remedies have to be active and incredibly specific.
Right, like if you harmed animals in your youth, you must spend the rest of your life actively loving and protecting animals. Or if you owe an emotional debt to an ex-partner, you can't just throw money at a charity to feel better about yourself. You have to pay back actual emotion.
It's an eye for an eye, but for healing.
Yeah, and if you owe financial debts, you literally have to track those people down, pay them back, and explicitly beg for their forgiveness.
Yeah.
The compensation has to perfectly mirror the shape of the crime.
And to generate the massive amounts of positive energy needed to actually balance these scales, the text brings in the teachings of Buddha.
Okay, how so?
Well, it specifically focuses on the concept of formless almsgiving. And this is presented as the ultimate tool for generating merit in this framework.
I found this concept so fascinating. Formless almsgiving essentially means giving without any ego attached whatsoever.
Zero ego.
You give without expecting anything in return, not even the internal pat on the back or the quiet recognition that you did a good deed. It has to be totally empty of self.
And the reason formless almsgiving is so crucial in this framework is that you aren't just paying off the debts from your current life.
Oh, right. Yeah. This part blew my mind.
The author explicitly states you are responsible for compensating for faults and debts accumulated over multiple generations in past lives.
Wait. I have to pay for stuff I did 3 lifetimes ago that I don't even remember doing?
Yep.
How do you audit a ledger you can't even see?
Well, this raises an important question, right? And the text delivers a very chilling warning about exactly that. The author writes, quote, "Do not assume that if you forget something, it will just go away."
Oh, wow.
Ignorance of your past life crimes offers zero protection. It's still in your code.
I just have to marvel at the sheer crushing weight of personal responsibility this demands. Like there is no statute of limitations here at all.
None whatsoever.
You have to actively overcorrect with massive amounts of formless almsgiving just to cover the blind spots in your own soul's history.
You are perpetually paying off the mortgage of your structural life, even if the original paperwork burned down centuries ago. It demands a state of constant, totally vigilant spiritual maintenance.
Okay, but let's say you do it.
Okay, you do the work.
Yeah, you do the grueling work. You audit your soul. You track down your middle school bullies and apologize. You pay your debts. You love the animals. And you dedicate yourself to totally formless almsgiving.
You balance the books.
Exactly. You balance the books. What's the reward? How do you break out of this terrifying mortal loop and ascend to these higher realms the text mentions?
Well, the baseline for success here is going to catch a lot of people off guard.
Okay.
According to the text, if you are profoundly kind, hardworking, and you fiercely love your family, your culture, and your country,
Sounds good so far.
right, you will absolutely be rewarded. But that reward is simply a ticket to reincarnate as a mortal human again.
Wait. Being a perfectly good, loving, patriotic, family-oriented citizen just hits the reset button.
Yep.
You just get to do human all over again.
Because your consciousness is still entirely tethered to human structures. The text points out that harboring unfulfilled earthly wishes, like wanting to see your grandchildren grow up or wanting your country to succeed, it acts as an anchor. An anchor.
It pulls your structural life right back down to the human realm.
Wow. Okay, this is where the framework takes a massive left turn.
It really does.
Because to reach the truly higher spiritual planes, the rules of being a quote-unquote good person completely invert.
Totally upside down.
Let's look at the first elevated realm, the 1,000-year world of heaven. To render this world in your afterlife, you ironically must eradicate the concepts of family, nation, culture, and religion from your mind completely.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, consider the implications of that contradiction.
It's massive.
The very attachments that define a noble human life.
Yeah.
Cherishing your children, defending your homeland, those are the exact chains preventing your ascension.
You literally have to untether your consciousness from human tribalism entirely to reach that 1,000-year world. You essentially have to graduate from the concept of humanity.
And it gets even more ethereal from there. Like the next level up is the 10,000-year world. And you get there if your consciousness frequently dreams of free flight, and if you can exist in a continuous state of pure joy without any desire for sexual contact.
You are shedding your biological imperatives at that point.
Right.
You're moving from a heavy, earthbound existence defined by survival and reproduction into this extremely light, structureless, ethereal frequency.
Which brings us to the absolute pinnacle of this cosmic map, the Elysium world, and specifically a realm called the Celestial Islands continent.
The ultimate goal.
Right. To get here, the rules state you must revere the greatest creator, obtain supernatural powers, and literally, quote, fancy an ideal world.
You have to use your imagination to actively construct it into being.
Yes.
And this is where we need to introduce a specific group the author mentions. The author of this text, Diaform Celestial, actually founded a spiritual community, and he refers to his followers as Chanyuan Celestials.
Okay, I was wondering when they would come out.
Yeah, and early in the text, he makes this incredibly bold, almost arrogant claim. He says he has the nerve to absolutely guarantee that his Chanyuan Celestials will reincarnate in the Celestial Islands continent.
But how can anyone possibly guarantee an afterlife destination with that level of certainty? That seems impossible.
By using the exact rendering mechanics we've been breaking down this whole time.
Oh, wow.
He claims he relentlessly infuses his followers' consciousness with the highly detailed, extremely specific realities of the Celestial Islands continent. He teaches them the intricate lifestyles, the geography, and the characteristics of the super celestial beings who live there.
So he just repeats it over and over.
He repeats this until those concepts completely override and wipe out all earthly attachments in their minds.
Man, if we go back to our computer analogy, he is basically formatting their hard drives.
That's exactly it.
He's deleting the partitions for human attachment, cultural identity, and earthly desires, and installing only the operating system for the Celestial Islands.
And he locks them out of any other program. The author is so confident in this methodology that he calls it a scientific truth.
The scientific truth.
Yeah, if the Celestial Islands continent is literally the only data left in their active memory, it is the only world their soul can possibly render when their biological life ends.
That is just, it is an immense, staggering concept.
It really is.
To bring all of this together for everyone listening, according to Diaform Celestial's framework, the non-material structure of your life, your eternal destination, is entirely in your hands, like actively being built in this very second.
Every second.
And the argument is that if you don't know where you are going after you die, it's not because it's a mystery, it's because your spiritual perception hasn't opened yet. You literally haven't bothered to audit your own code.
The architecture of this system removes all victimhood. Every fleeting thought, every forgotten debt, every unfulfilled human desire is actively laying the backs of your next reality.
And think about this. Whether you believe in this specific cosmological map or not, whether you buy into the frozen layer of hell or the celestial island's continent, the core underlying idea is deeply relevant to how we live today.
Oh, absolutely.
The idea that the information, the desires, and the concepts we willingly allow into our minds define the absolute boundaries of our reality. It's a powerful psychological truth, honestly. We literally become what we consume.
It forces a really stark evaluation of what we are feeding our consciousness on a daily basis.
It does, which leaves me with a thought I really want you to chew on today. We've spent this time exploring how your focused consciousness dictates your future reality, right?
Yeah.
But think about your own day.
Yeah, look at modern life.
Exactly. We live in a modern digital age where our consciousness is constantly, just relentlessly flooded with infinite, chaotic, fragmented information. You have endless doom-scrolling, conflicting news cycles intentionally inducing panic, fleeting memes, outrage algorithms, 10-second videos. If this text's central thesis is right, and we build our eternal home solely out of the materials currently occupying our minds, what kind of chaotic, fragmented, anxiety-ridden afterlife are we accidentally building for ourselves right now?